Alright everybody, another episode of the Lair from Terrence Popp. Let's see, I got a mixed bag here. I got some opinions. I had some people want my opinions on real life stuff that's going on right now, and some questions or what's my take on certain things. So I picked 10 out. I'm going back. I go back like 3.5 years on this, so you got to cut me some slack. First one here is somebody brought to my attention that Israel is having some kind of butt pain with their super Orthodox Jewish people who are in their population, and they're protesting against mandatory service, which males do 2 years, 8 months, and females do 2 years. Okay, apparently they have the same phenomena going on there that we have in this country and other Western world countries. Is well, when the life is too easy and there's no challenges, and you grow up in that environment, you grow up with a case of entitlement. And in this case, the Orthodox Jewish people are saying they'd rather get killed by terrorists than serve in the Israeli army. And that type of behavior or thought process is here in America too, because we have a 100% volunteer army at the time. We do not have a draft as of yet. We probably will if it gets real bad enough. So it is what it is. I think women and men should be subject to the draft as well. They want all these equal rights, and guess what? They have to deal with equal ass pain, just like all us dudes do. Okay, the TSA pat down of this young boy at the airport. Now I went and I saw this, and yes, it was a thorough pat down, and yes, the TSA guy came close to some the pixie stick and future child cherries, how should we say? It was like, I think it was like 12, I don't know. And of course he has a mental condition like most of the males in their country do now. That's why most of us, or most of the young kids, are taking some type of Ritalin or whatever, but that's a side note. I totally concur with what the TSA is doing to ensure our safety. And apparently these are random screens. Like, apparently every so often, every so many people get the full business, and that has to happen. So if you build a pattern in and you don't search the little kids, then some assholes out there are gonna put all their shit on a kid, get on a plane, and blow that thing up, or do horrible shit with whatever they have on the kid. I've seen some of the terrorist videos where these guys are, families, a mother and father, are bragging about how they're going to put suicide vests on their children and send them out to go kill people so they can go be with Allah in paradise. Okay, and if you don't think that this will not happen, or if you think this doesn't happen, you're out of your goddamn mind, because you're dealing with a really crazy ideology over there, and they pray 5 times a day, and the person that runs the mosque has the power of our Pope, and crazy shit can ensue. And I'd rather have people, going above and beyond to make sure me or somebody that I love doesn't get blown up in an aircraft. Let's see. Okay, there's another one somebody brought to my attention of the craziness that's going on in California. Yes, basically California is threatening to cut back funding for several school districts because they have too many white people in them. Too many white students. Well, first of all, if certain people gravitate to an area and those people all happen to be white and all the kids go to the closest school, why are you punishing the kids in the school? I mean, that's ridiculous. This is yet more of this stupid California thinking where everything is free and it's all fun and games until nobody dies, because hey, war is unnecessary and blah blah and all that crap. But hey, we're gonna see California do a big two tits to the sky, because it's been run by Democrats for too long, just like Detroit was. And look at Detroit; it's probably equivalent to Lebanon in the '80s when they're at the height of their civil war. Whole blocks burned down and shit. Okay, somebody asked me what are some of my favorite acronyms. Okay, one of them would be LOVE, and it's not the love you're thinking about. It's basically loathing of vicious enemy. Okay, if you've ever been in divorce court, that acronym applies, because you don't really know anybody until you have to fight them in court. Okay, because you really see some crazy ass shit going on. People flip their script. They basically go back to their true nature, and it is what it is. You might just throw yourself a flying crossbody cock block. I've received so far, I think it's 8 different types of way I can calculate the dick stacking test. And that is absolutely great. You know, I really love the fact that I have fans out there that are starting to grasp these concepts and applying their own mind to them, because, you know, what I do here are they're just all seeds that I'm planting in everyone else's mind. And, you know, if they're allowing them to grow, great. Yeah, I'm a big fan of it's the wise man who learns through the mistakes of others, and the fool who learns through his own. And I've learned through a lot of mistakes that I made, and I hope that I'm putting, you know, ideas forward that keep people from making the same mistakes I did, because it's very goddamn painful. Somebody wants me to explain why men drop out of the kids' lives after divorce so much. All right, now I've talked to a lot of guys, a lot of non-custodial parents, mostly veterans and servicemen, but the neighborhood's like somewhere between 6,500 and 8,000 people since 2007. And one of the main reasons, of course, this is just me, and, you know, I haven't done an official study. I'm just telling you what pattern I see that's going on here. A lot of these guys are getting fucked over in family court. You know, I mean, the laws of the country just reprehensibly treat these guys like pieces of shit. How do I know this? Because it happened to me. You know, I'm a 2 Purple Heart recipient, 3 wars under my belt, and treated like an absolute fucking piece of shit in family court, and compared to a serial killer and an assassin. So, you know, a lot of guys, they're really good at building walls. All right, guys don't handle emotions well. So they walk out of there, the divorce is final, they see the fact that they get to see their kids maybe 48 hours a month, and they just say, you know what, fuck it, and they build the wall. And a lot of times the kids are on the wrong side of the wall, and that's a shame. But, you know, you got to also take into account that the custodial parent, the mother, in most instances, basically in 93% of the time, she allowed that to happen. She didn't stop it from happening, and her excuse is, oh, it's the law, it's not my fault. And so, you know, these guys, they go MIA, and I don't blame them. And women don't really realize the effect of what happened or what they just did until usually about 5 years after the fact, when the kid's like, you know, 11 to 13, and he's like looking around like, what's going on here? And, you know, those are the late formative years, basically where a man or a husband or a father being in the child's life is crucial. And it's not just a role model or a boyfriend or a stepdad. It's got to be the blood father. That's if he is active in the child's life, the chances of all kinds of crazy shit going on down the road are significantly lessened. Okay, there's a big difference between single mothers and single fathers in regards to prison statistics. A large portion of people in prison had no father at home. But a very small population of prisoners are in prison now who came from a single father home. So I want you to just put that in your pipe and smoke it for a little while. Okay, now this guy wanted to know what was my thought process behind the ethnic anger scale and why did I make it. Well, you know, when you're in the military, when I'm in the Army, I've seen a lot of people have a berserker moment. A lot of people like go off the deep end, flip the fuck out over like some crazy ass shit. And, you know, I decided to rank it in regards to who's the most angry to the least angry. And I put a funny spin on it. I made a video about it called the Ethnic Anger Scale. You know, I've had guys come in there and like, well, stiff arm my desk, everything on the floor. You know, I've had guys like get all freaked out and pissed off and throw on their weapon and ammo and run screaming off into the, you know, the night, and he's go out and basically tackle them and bring them back and get them, you know, back in the reservation. I had to talk down a guy who was just find out he was getting divorced, and he was driving around on the golf course during a lightning storm, holding, you know, the goddamn the 4-iron over his head, you know, asking to be hit by lightning and die. And I had to go talk the guy down, and that's a funny story, but yeah, that really did fucking happen. So. Okay, oh wait, what is my take on NATO and why do you feel that way? Okay, well, one, the person who sent me this video knows that I'm against NATO. NATO is incredibly expensive, virtually ineffective. You know, there's a lot of times, especially during, you know, the 90s, in the early 2000s when all that crazy shit was going on in Africa. NATO went and they didn't do shit. They cost billions of dollars, and still countless people were killed, and war crimes were happening. But it was a company that was a mercenary company called Executive Decisions. Went down there and they, for basically pennies on the dollar, what NATO was paying to get the same results, they were doing for pennies on the dollar. But everyone said the mercenaries are bad, and for the most part they are. But it is what it is. They do what they do. They're economical, and they treat war as a business. And NATO is just too goddamn expensive. Also, America, we flipped the lion's share of the budget for NATO, and we wind up being the police force of the world. We're going broke doing it, and if other nations don't want to, raise the bar and pay their equal share, then I think NATO should go away. Just my opinion. All right, why not always push people into the military? People do not wish to be slaves or die or get wounded for corporate greed. All right, I've dealt with this quite a bit, especially since I put out the Mangina video. Okay. There has never been, nor will there ever be, a just and fair war. Okay? There I said it. Okay, war has been around since the beginning of time, and it will probably end us at some point in our future. War is brutal, savage, it's not fair, and if you want to win, you got to be willing to, play dirty and basically look the other way at some rules. Okay, and why do I push the military? Well, the military was good to me. Changed me into a completely different person from what I was when I walked out of high school. I was able to go to college. I was able to focus my mind better once I got out of the service, and they basically did that. They made me a better person, more effective, and quite literally, if I had not gone to the military, the best I could probably hope for was being maybe an assistant manager at Denny's or something at the midnight shift, because normally people just don't do that shit. As for the corporate greed, if you drove your car today, got on a bus, used a pen or pencil, went to see the doctor, take antibiotics or anything like that, guess what? That's a product of war. Because for whatever reason, for the most part, we hairless monkeys are not really good until we have our hands around somebody else's neck. Okay, because almost everything that you enjoy in the civilian life that you have was either thought of or perfected during wartime. It is what I'm telling you, it is. Like antibiotics, World War I, plus all different kinds of explosives, the radio, the tank, hey, what can I say? So get used to it, and it's only going to get, it's going to get worse before it gets better. I'm basically envisioning in our future some pretty crazy stuff with the technology that we have, and I'm going to be putting that into some of my future novels. Okay, somebody asked me, when will I do another zombie apocalypse video? Those are great. Okay, I have one more zombie apocalypse script that I'm reluctant to put out there because it's so vicious, it's so vile and dirty, it's easy to do, and it's cheap. And I'm not going to really put that out into the airwaves just yet. I am contemplating writing about it as a plot line in one of my future novels, and because then I can really go into depth on how it can be done and how much it costs and how ruthlessly vicious it can actually be. I do have another one above and beyond that, which was an individual gets himself into a truck and runs down a bunch of people at a high population compact event, which has already happened several times. The nuclear war thing, we did that. There's a couple more I'm kicking around, but I probably have a good 2 or 3 in me right now. And, as I go along, I'll probably come up with a few more. But anyway, that's my time here. Hope you liked it. Now here's the t-shirt. The ad's going to be afterwards.
Race Riot Apparel, 10% off. Link is in the description. Go forth and offend.
Have a good time. Don't drink and swim. Don't drink and fuck. Don't drink and drive. And if you fuck, wear a condom. In fact, wear a condom for all those. You'll be fine. Talk to you later. Out.